Hey y'all, Eric here with today's video. I hadn't intended on doing a video, but today was just too much. And why was it too much today? Because I depend on public transit, and transit failed me today. So let's dive in it, and I'll try to make this not too long. So I haven't eaten anything except apples. I'm trying to stay away from Cheez-Its. Cheez-Its, it's inflammable, all that kind of stuff. That's not what the video is about. Anyway, and I got a lot going on, and I had a class tonight that was just screwed up, and part and parcel. It's about cats. But anyway, let's just dive into it. So today, um, going to the gym, finish gym, come home, eat, and class. That was the schedule today. Um, so I got on the phone. I got on the bus and got to the bus stop, and it takes me about the closest bus stop. And this is not the first time I've talked about this, but the first bus stop is at the corner of Milan and Capsule Mine. And I'm going to show you this because this is part of the story today. To pick up the bus for 2:53 p.m. And then if it was on time, then I would get to Beatties Ford Road and get off at the YMCA, and then get on the number 7 to go downtown. So the 2:53 number 13 would pick me up and then drop me off on Beatties Ford at 2:55, and then the number 7 would pick me up at 2:58. So, generally speaking, the number 7 is on time, almost always. The number 13, not so much. Not so much. Always delayed for the most part. So, I left at 2:34, which means I had 19 minutes to get to the bus stop. So where I live off of Peachtree, it can take me about, it used to be when I was heavy at 262, it would take me about 20 minutes to walk down to that bus stop. But now that I've lost 64 pounds, and I got some muscle on me now too, um, it only takes me, and I was shocked, I got rid of about 6 minutes. I got rid of about 6 minutes. So it can take me, depending on traffic, because Capsule Mines is not fully sidewalked. No. So the part that I use to walk down, half of it is not sidewalks. And it's a 2-lane road, and the county might cut the grass, but I think the grass was cut 2 months ago, and it's all back up now. And then, of course, snakes will come out and everything. So you have to step into the grass so the cars won't hit you. So, but anyway, so I got down to the bus stop at 2:48, I believe, 2:48. And still on the app, let me see if I can bring it up. Let me see if I can bring it up. Okay, so if you can see it, the, the glare. So, no, that is not what I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking for. This is the Cats Pass app. And the schedules are down here. You can't really see for the glare, because if I turn the light off, you still can't see it, because it's a white background. Let me see if that's a little better. That's a little better, but there's a lot of white background in there. But anyway, so um, so anyway, it was scheduled for 2:53, and I always go in there, and you can't see it, but right here on my phone, I'm showing this says Capsule Mine and Milan Road, that stop number, and then it shows the schedules of the bus. So it said 2:53, and I said, okay. Now I could go further down because there's a shade tree down there where another bus stop is, but I didn't have enough time. Because you can wave at the bus, but depending on the driver, they're not going to stop. So I just stood there. There's no shade tree except for a Duke Energy pole, and depending on the angle of the sun, you may get maybe this wide of a shade lane. So, but I do have a sun hat that I wear when it's bright sun, when it's heat, to keep the sun off my shoulders and off my face and neck. So I was good. I was good. And being diabetic, you need to have shades on too, because a diabetic, you could have issues. Not every diabetic, but most diabetics may have issues with their sight, their vision. So that's a lot right there. So anyway, I got down there. 2:53 came and went. No bus. 2:54, no bus. 2:55, no bus. 2:56, no bus. 2:57, no bus. And I looked at the schedule, and then the bus itself that was supposed to be there on at 2:53, it was gone, as though it had came and gone. No such animal. So I was a little pissed because I was tight for time. I was tight for time. And so on the app too, in red, and I know you can't see it, you can report a problem to them. So if you click on that, if you click on it, then you can, it'll ask you to take a picture if you need to. Then you type it in, and then you choose what type of report is it. That would be a security concern, maintenance, or complaint, comment or complaint. You can select the report location, whether it's the links, the bus itself, a bus stop, the streetcar stop, the links train. There's a lot of things you can choose. And then if you want to be anonymous, you just turn that on and then hit send report. So, um, so anyway, I was doing all that. And of course, this little nugget is pertinent to the story. Cats always commercialize their bus system, and particularly this app, because they want everybody to use the Cats Pass app, which you can buy your ticket, you can look at schedules, you can set up a route, all that. It's not perfect. The way that they market it, you would think that it was a perfect app. Not even close. Not even close. So if you are a bus rider, you want to be able to see the bus on the map and see it moving towards you. That's live tracking. Not scheduled for 2:53, oh, delayed, and then in red it will say 2:54, and all it's going to say is delayed. That's not live tracking. That's live scheduling. There is a difference between live tracking and live scheduling. And I've talked about this to a supervisor with cats. And once he heard the way that I explained it, he gets it. He gets it. And on top of this, when when all bus systems started using apps on smartphones, CATS, just like some of the other cities, had a live action tracking app. They did. And I guarantee you the reason they don't have it is probably because of money. Because for the most part, like Kansas City has an app and it's live tracking. But KCATA doesn't own that app. They pay for it. It's a third party app that assists KCATA with bus tracking. And so if KCATA can do it, and you can take Kansas City and sit it inside Charlotte and still have space, then CATS certainly can do it too. But I digress. So it took me a couple of minutes to do that. And then, of course, I was going to connect to the number 7, right? No such animal. The number 7 was on time. It got there on time and it went on its way. The bus, I was about to walk and just give up my gym day. I was about to give up my gym day. And I'm sick and tired of that. I'm sick and tired of that. But that's a separate story too. That's a separate story. So I was actually in the middle, halfway between Beatties Ford Road and halfway from the house. But to get to Beatties Ford Road, there is a very, very steep decline and incline. And it can wear out. It can wear out a lot of people can't do it. I've done it. I've done it. Um, the good news is on that side, there are sidewalks, so you won't be walking in the street. But I wasn't going to do it. I was not going to wear out my legs before I even got to the gym. Because in fact, yesterday was leg day, and I really shouldn't do leg day because it takes me 20 minutes to get home walking. So anyway, I was about to come back home. I was about to come back home, and I took one step, and then the bus finally showed up. Finally showed up, and it showed up at 5:58 when I should have been at Beatties Ford Road. So I got on the bus and sat down, and I was waiting to see if maybe the number 7 was late, but no, it wasn't on the app. It wasn't late, and I missed it. The next one would have been 14 minutes later. 14 minutes later. And I wasn't going to stand in the sun at 87 degrees. No, at that time, it was 89 degrees. It was 89 degrees. There is a tree, but that tree is fully grown. It's a good canopy, but there are a lot of ants and bugs around there. And so I was not going to be bitten by fire ants. It was either be bitten by fire ants or stand in the sun. So I decided to stay on the bus and get to the Lynx station, particularly the Sugar Creek Bay station. And I can pick up the train, and the train from Sugar Creek to Charlotte Transportation Center takes about 15 minutes. Takes about 15 minutes, depending on the driver. If I had gotten on the number 7, about 15 to 20 minutes. Um, Almost at the same point. But again, I was not standing outside. So I got there, and the train was late. The train was supposed to be there at 3:27. um, the bus, I thought I was going to miss the train because the bus driver, um, you would think that we were on a snail. That's how slow he was driving. And I'd never seen this driver on the bus route before. So anyway, and I noted the bus number because yeah, I use the system, and so I'm going to file complaints and compliments and all that kind of stuff, or maintenance issues. So I got to the platform, the train wasn't there. I don't remember looking at the app because I decided to call because now I'm behind. I'm behind because the goal was to get downtown by say 3:15, 3:20. Takes me 2 minutes to get to the gym. Already had things, so all I had to do was warm up my upper body and then get to the workout, get it done, go pick up some banana bread, cut my apple, and then go to the train station. I would have been able to get back to the Sugar Creek Bay to pick up the four, pick up the 5:50 bus, and then get back home by about 6 o'clock. No, get back home by about 6:30 because my class on Thursdays were cut off by an hour because my instructor, who's the assistant dean of IT at CPCC, they have a staff meeting, um, and the staff meeting was set up before this class was actually scheduled. So got there, no bus, and in fact, the train got me there. I picked up the train at actually call customer service. Let me backtrack. Call customer service and file this complaint. Gave all the information, the bus number, all of that. And I told him it was a complaint. And he took that information. But then here is something that made me laugh. When I called the CATS customer service number and I dialed it and it connected, it didn't, on my phone, it didn't say Charlotte Area Transit System or CATS customer service. It had the name of a Presbyterian church. Mm-hmm. As though a Presbyterian church owned that phone number, but on the CATS website, the phone number is listed as their phone number. Fortunately, customer service picked up, and I so I did all that while I'm waiting on the train, and then the train, the northbound um, train came, but I would swear on a stack of Bibles, it didn't even stop. I don't know what was going on today, but it's like everything was just screwed up. So finally, the southbound train came, and I got on there, and I finally got to the gym, got to downtown, and got to the gym, and started working out at 4 o'clock. I had already decided instead of 4 sets, I was only going to do 2 sets. I was still going to do my ab um, exercise. Today was going to be the plank, and then I was going to skip the cardio because usually on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, I have added a 10-minute stair stepper thing, and so I got that done. Ordered my banana bread. Um, got my bag, cut my apple in the gym, and then put that back in my bag. Then got to Starbucks. Actually, no, I went to Walgreens. I went to Walgreens, got me a snack in case I missed the bus, and went back to Starbucks, got my banana nut bread, and then went on my way. Almost missed the northbound, got the 505, and then got up to the station at 5:23, thinking that there was going to be a 5:25 bus, and there was not. I believe the 13 leaves the Sugar Creek Bay at 5:17 because that route can take 30 minutes from end to end, and the bus driver has a break at the Sugar Creek Bay. And once it gets into one of the Capsule Mine neighborhoods, it can stop for 5 minutes. So I had to wait on the 5:50, so I had 20 minutes. No, 25 minutes until the bus came. Well, the bus showed up at 5:50. It showed up at 5:50. People got off the bus, and mind you, different driver, but the same bus number. Same bus number. And this bus driver got off, and she was talking to some other people about something. So I stood up, and she came off the bus. She said, "Did you hear me?" And I said, "No." She said, "They're taking this bus, and another bus is coming," which let me know, because I was supposed to help my housemate and my bestie, who I live with, help him with an app on his phone. But I knew I wasn't going to do that. And on top of that, I was going to be late for my meeting for my class, but I could log in on my phone, but I didn't have the Teams app on my phone. So I had to download the Teams app on my phone. So that was the plan. So I was sitting there, and then I filed a complaint this time on the app. Because if there was an issue with that bus all day, my issue was, first of all, when was that issue reported? Because the people I've talked to at CATS, when a driver reports something, it's automatically put in the system, and then whatever the issue is, it's worked right then. So if this bus could not be used anymore, there should have been another bus waiting for that driver at 5:50 when they brought that bus in there, and they could have just gotten off that bus, got on the new bus, and the maintenance person would have taken that bus away, and then the schedule keeps going. That makes sense. What actually happened makes sense in no universe that I'm aware of. So the bus was supposed to leave at 5:50, right? 5:55, no bus. 6 o'clock, no bus. More people are getting off the links for Hidden Valley, for Capsule Mine, Nevins Road, and I forget where the other bus goes. But still no 13. 6:05, no bus. 6:06, 6:10, no bus. And not only am I getting upset, some other people are getting annoyed too, because they have places to go. 6:15, still no bus. Now at this point, at 6:15, another 13 was scheduled to leave that same bay at 6:25. And so I knew what was going to happen. No other bus was coming. No replacement bus was coming. We were going to have to wait on the 6:25. The 6:25 bus. And when that bus came, I can tell you, I was livid when I figured out that was going to happen. I was livid because at this point, and the bus did show up, but it had that driver was bringing the bus. The driver on the bus that wasn't working because the engine was on, the air conditioner was on, all that. That bus driver got off the bus, tried to wave that person on, Then this driver went to that bus and they had a conversation. Apparently, the driver was supposed to have already moved this bus to a holding bay so that she could pull in. So that driver got back on that bus, moved that bus. This driver moved the new number 13 up to the bay. People were trying to get on the bus, and she waved them off, saying, "Nope, there's going to be a different driver." So we thought the driver who was taking that bus around the corner was going to come back. This guy came out, finishing up eating what he was eating, just taking his sweet ass time getting to the bus, got on the bus, and then he was waving people. And by this time, it was, mind you, another bus was coming at 6:25. By this time, it was 6:18. There was no possible way that I was going to be able to ride this bus, get to my stop, and then get home in time to log in on my computer. Never mind helping my friend with that app issue. And so I was just like, whatever, whatever. So then we leave the bay. We leave the bay. And I'm on my phone trying to calm myself down, because it was like the universe is saying, let's pick on Eric today. I was playing Royal. Let me see, what's mine? What is it on my phone? I think it's called Royal. Yes, the game that I have is Royal Match, but the new game that they're marketing with Sarah Michelle Gellar is Royal Kingdom, and they're made by the same people. But Royal Kingdom is a little bit different. Anyway, I happened to look up at my phone trying to figure out we had circled back and went back to the bay, and this time it was 6:27. Like maybe he had left too early and decided to go back to see if anybody was there waiting on the 6:25. Now, to that point, that makes sense because this bus really shouldn't have left the bay until 6:25 because that's when it was scheduled next to leave. But that does nothing for those of us who have been waiting for nearly an hour waiting on a bus. So then finally we're on our way and we get to the neighborhood, and by this time it's I want to say it was 6:30. 6:30, thereabouts. So then we come into, turn off of Capsule Mountain Road, turn into the neighborhood, and the bus comes up Braden, and then it will make a left-hand turn on Milan Road East, but it couldn't turn because there were ambulances, fire trucks, and police cars blocking the whole road. And this woman got on the bus. She said we couldn't go through there because there was an accident. The road was blocked. So Milan Road East was blocked at that turn. Okay. Now there is a bus stop right down the corner, but where that lady was, you couldn't get past that. So it was supposed to continue on Milan Road East and then turn right on Braden. There are two bus stops turn right on Bardot, and there are two bus stops on Bardot. No, but what this bus driver did, now, the bus driver, what I thought he was going to do was just go down Braden and then turn into one of the streets on the right, which all dead end, and then he could have backed out and then gone back down Braden and gone down to the first road on the left, which was Deadman. And then he could have come up Deadman, got back on Bardot, could have looked down, to see if that bus stop had anybody on there. Probably not. Because usually when we go there, either people get on right there at Milan Road East and Braden, or they would get off at some of these other ones. But anyway, because that portion of the road was blocked, he could have gone down Deadman and then gone down Deadman, turned on Firestone. There's a bus stop right there. And then come down to Lightspun, and he would be back on his route. He would be back on the route. No, that's not what this guy did. He went all the way down Braden until he got to the end of it, and it was in a cul-de-sac. And the part that he went into is a new neighborhood extension. The bus is actually not supposed to go down this road, but that was the only, and technically that was the only out that he had, even though there were tributary roads around. And these brand new houses are packed so close together. And then everybody has cars and they're on the street, and these streets are so thin that the bus may not have been able to get through. So I'm not going to fault him for that. So we come back around, and I'm thinking he's going to come back out, and then maybe he's just going to go up Capitol Mine to Firestone and then get back on his route. No, he didn't do that. He didn't turn left on Capitol Mine. He turned right on Capitol Mine. And at this time, I'm already logged in because it's 6:52 at this time. I'm already logged in to my team's class meeting, and I'm actually talking to my instructor, who is the assistant dean of IT at CPCC. And I was muting myself, and his brother had come in. He was talking about having someone watch his daughter while he was doing it. And, but anyway, so I happened to look up, and we're back on Capitol Mine Road. We're going down the hill, and I said, wait a minute, where are we? Nobody else on the bus is saying anything. I wouldn't expect her to say anything, because she had just gotten on the bus. But the two other guys that were on the bus, nobody said anything. So I looked at him, I said, excuse me, we're not going up the hill? He said, no. And I said, no, just let me off this bus. I was hot then. I was hot. I started cussing, which is sort of out of character for me. But I've said this before. The older I get, the less inclined I am to tolerate other people's bullshit. And in this case, because he didn't think about his passengers on the bus, I was hot. I was. And in fact, I thought I had muted myself, but I hadn't. My instructor heard me. He asked if I was okay, and I told him no, I was going to go ahead and sign off so that I could cool off. And then, because no other students had joined. And so I told him I would log in once I got home. But actually, I logged in once I got past, because I had to walk up 2 hills this time. And these are not small hills. And I didn't want anybody to hear me huffing and puffing, and I always participate in the classes. And so once I got past to the flat part of Capitol Mines, I logged back into the call and just listened. And finally got home, and then Teams kicked me off for whatever reason. Teams kicked me off. And so here I am trying to log in on my computer, and then Teams wouldn't let me do anything. So then I kept having to do this, that, and the other, and talking about they wanted access to this. I said, you didn't ask me that Tuesday. So finally got in, and I just stayed muted, and I just listened, because there were some people in the class. My class this time around only has 8 people in it, and 3 of us were not there. And so, and then 2 of the people, or 3 of the people in the class, they weren't participating anyway. I was happy to hear that two of my classmates were participating so that Dean Little could, because he likes for us to be engaged, and that's part of our grade, the participation. So, but I just sat back. I wasn't in the framework. I let cats my day, upset my day. And this is not the first time. It's not the second time. It's not the third time. It's not the fourth time. Um, the solution to this is to get a car, but I can't because I don't have a job. And the reason I don't have a job is because I haven't been able to find one, and it's difficult for me to find one because I took early retirement. And I have to be careful now about what job I take to avoid a penalty. But my retirement benefits are not enough. And that's the whole reason I'm in school, to get some IT certifications under my belt so I can get an entry level IT job, which will get me more money than any other entry level job. But the realization that hit me today is that I cannot depend on cats. I can't. I have been given a false sense of security that the bus will always be there for me, and it's not. And it's not. And so the short answer is there's nothing I can do. I have to use some money for my next benefit drop to see if I can get the scooter fixed. And if I can't get the scooter fixed, I'm going to have to replace it. Because the whole reason I bought this scooter was twofold. Number one, save me time. Instead of walking 15 to 20 minutes to the bus stop, scooter gets me there in 5 minutes. Coming home, when I was taking number 7 up to Cindy Lane and waiting on the number 13 to come, and the number 13 was always delayed. Something was always wrong with the number 13, and it was cold at that time. I could just hop on my scooter and I could scoot the whole length of Capsule Mines from Beatties Ford Road to Peachtree Road in 10 minutes. I could go from that bus stop on Beatties Ford Road, get into my driveway in about 10 or 11 minutes, depending on traffic, on my scooter. Walking from Beatties Ford Road, which I've done before, walking from Beatties Ford Road to Peachtree Road, we're talking 45 minutes. 45 minutes. And that's not a flat stretch of road either. So the other piece to that is to move to a different section of town where the bus line is more reliable, or maybe I can get Section 8 housing somewhere close to the blue lanes, because Section 8 housing is the only way that I'm going to be able to afford to live by myself. And most of the places I had even just been looking at, because I'm encouraging my housemate that maybe he might want to look outside of Charlotte to find the job that he wants, because even he is at his wit's end about affordability. But the whole thing is he owns his house, and that in and of itself is going to be a job to either A, get somebody to manage the house, or B, sell the house. So essentially, that's where I am right now. But as soon as I finish this video, I'm going to file a complaint about that bus. Oh, and the other thing that I was going to do, I told the whole story without even showing you. So let me go back. I'm just going to show you this map. And so this is what should have happened. So what you see on the map over here is Beatties Ford Road. The bus I'm on turns left onto Capsule Mine Road from Beatties Ford. This is the Macquarie YMCA right there. The bus comes down Capsule Mine and turns on Braden Drive right here. It'll turn left on the Braden, then come down, and it's supposed to turn on Milan Road East. It couldn't turn because this section right here was blocked, like I said. So a woman at this stop got on the bus, and then the bus kept going down Braden all the way around until it ended, and he did a U-turn and came back. Now, what he should have done, because it was still blocked here, but it looked like they were leaving because we saw police cars and everything backing out. It looked like he could have waited and then the way would have been cleared, because we don't know if we couldn't see this far, and we don't know if the accident was past Fagan Way or if it was before Fagan Way. Because if it was past Fagan Way and all this was just traffic, then he could have gone, turned down Fagan Way, and then only have missed these two bus stops. He could have gotten that one, then gone back to Deadman and been on his way. But what he could have done, since he was already on Braden, come back down and turn left onto Deadman, take Deadman up to Firestone and turn left, and then he's back on his route, because the route goes up Firestone, then it turns on Lightspun, then it comes down to Milan Road, and then Milan Road only has one stop on it, and it comes all the way down to the end, turns the corner, and that's where I get off the bus, right there. And then I have a 20-minute walk, 15-minute walk. If I can decrease this, I have a 20-minute walk from here all the way up there to Peachtree. So that's what got me so upset, because it's like he didn't even care. Now, granted, I get it. He's hired to drive. But all he had to do was either call his supervisor and get direction, or could have picked up his phone, pulled that street up on the map, and he could have seen, just like I saw, there was a way to get back on track. There is a way to get back on track. And this overall is my conundrum with people in the workforce. I know that there are a lot of people who are in jobs that they absolutely hate, but they're in that job because they need the job to get the check to pay the bills. I get it. I've done them myself. But if you absolutely hate your job, and the hatred of the job spills over into the actual work that you're doing, and it affects other people, it's time for you to leave. It's time for you to leave. Because while that driver either did not know, didn't care to know, is that he essentially fucked up my evening. Because I had no control. No control. Now, granted, when I was at the Sugar Creek Bay, I could have looked at my bank account and saw, well, I could guesstimate how much money it would cost me to get a Lyft ride from Sugar Creek Bay back to my house. Yeah, I could have done that because there's money in my account. But again, it's not that much because I have to make this last until the middle of the month when I get my next amount. And because Social Security deposits are based on your date of birth. If I were on SSI, I could, because I would be disabled, I could get my money the first of the month. Every month it would be on the first. But Social Security doesn't work that way. Regular Social Security doesn't work that way. And so the money that I have in my account, I have to keep it there for food, for groceries, until the next one comes. I just don't have discretionary money. And so I'm upset. I'm upset with myself for losing my self-control. But I will not be deterred. I'm going to file this complaint. And honestly, that's the only thing that I can do to get it out of my system. Because if I don't do that, it's going to upend the rest of my evening. And there's nobody I can call to talk to about it anyway, not till tomorrow. So that's what happened today to me. That's what happened today to me to upend my day. And I'm already behind in my schoolwork because my class is on Tuesday and Thursday. And it's a short session, only 7 weeks. And we get a lot of information at one time. And I like this instructor because he's teaching it not just what the book, not just what the CompTIA information reads. He is teaching it the simple way and teaching us to do the work and to pass the exam. Now, granted, I'm going to get a certification of completion from CPCC, just like I did with my IT support tech class. And then I'll have both the IT support tech class and the Network Plus class certifications from the school. What I will not have is the CompTIA certification. Companies are looking for the CompTIA certifications. The problem with the CompTIA certifications is how expensive they are. These tests are $300 and some odd. Yeah, and not everybody can afford to pay them. So some people take these courses. They paid $180 for the classes, get all of the information, and see if they can get an entry-level job with a company that will teach them the hands-on work and then help them pay for the certification class. That is the path that I'm on. But I may have to abandon that. I hope it doesn't come to that, but I may have to abandon that and look at something else. Because I can't continue this way. I can't. I'm not going to run my blood pressure up after I have taken months to get it under control, to see it upended by people in jobs who just don't give a fuck. That's how I feel today. That's how I feel today about these bus drivers today. Not all of them. Not all of them. But anyway, longer video than I intended. I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to say. Sometimes I ask for comments. But I guess I don't need any comments. I guess this video was just for me to vent and get it off my chest. But if you wanted to say something, that's cool. But no matter. I'll figure it out. And if I don't figure it out, one thing that I know, that if I don't participate in this process by trying to figure out a solution that works best for me, the universe is going to do it for me, and I may not like what the universe gives me. Keep that in mind. See you guys on the next video. Also, happy Pride. Happy Pride. To anybody who thinks that trans people aren't part of this community, fuck you. To the government who says that anyone who supports trans people, fuck you. The government says that because I support trans people, I'm a terrorist. Well, guess what? Fuck you. Fuck our administration. Fuck ICE. And fuck Donald Trump. How about that?